We're here at the Plaza Hotel, and oh my goodness, what a weekend it is going to be with the Tequila Collective in town. In fact, Rob Gerard is the Tequila Collective, and then we've got Eduardo Lalo Gonzalez with us as well from Lalo Tequila. Gentlemen, welcome. It's great to have you in El Paso. Rob, let me start with you. This is going to be one of those weekends that if you love tequila, this is like the ultimate tequila, not just education, but experience. Is that the best way to describe it?
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. We're going to be drinking a lot of great additive-free tequila. We're kicking it off with Lalo tonight, having a Lalo cocktail pairing dinner. Going to have some great Lalo cocktails, also Lalo Neat, of course. And then tomorrow we're going to have a entire educational tasting, so we're going to have some great additive-free tastings in the lineup, along with a really awesome menu for dinner. I'm really excited about it.
Now, you're not from here. You live in Southern California.
Yes.
When did you first get hooked on tequila?
It was about 10 years ago. I was tired of drinking beer, and my buddy Roberto, who is Mexican, said, if you're going to hang with a Mexican, you don't want to drink beer, we have to drink tequila. So I said, okay, let's do it. And unfortunately, I didn't know anything about tequila at the time. So we started with all the brands that I would not recommend now that are probably full of additives. But that's where the journey started. And then I fell in love. Being in Southern California, there's a huge Mexican population. Mm-hmm. So it felt very, very familiar in a way. And as I learned more, I just fell more in love with tequila and the Mexican culture, and it's been quite a journey.
When did the additive-free tequila movement really start?
For me, it was about 2020, and I think that's when Tequila Matchmaker's additive-free program started as well. Tequila Matchmaker really brought light to additives being used in the production process of tequila. Things like color, sweetener, glycerin, a lot of things that you don't necessarily want in your tequila, which really overshadow the beauty of the agave and what tequila should taste like.
Yeah, it's incredible how it's evolved now. And you mentioned Tequila Matchmaker. There's an app, a website, and when you go and search certain tequilas, they even will show you which ones are additive-free.
Correct, yeah. They've been instrumental in leading the additive-free movement, as we like to say, and without them, a lot of us tequila drinkers, aficionados, would not have the information that we have today. So they've been instrumental in the movement.
How do we know which tequilas have certain additives? Is it possible? Because you don't always see that in the list of ingredients.
Right. So unfortunately, they don't have to list any ingredients, and it can even be misleading because on almost all bottles of tequila that are sold here in the States, they're 100% agave, which if you look at that, you would think, oh, this must just be agave, nothing else is added to it. But unfortunately, there's no labeling. So a program like Tequila Matchmaker's Additive Free program is really helpful because they're a third party that's basically going into distilleries and confirming if a brand is not using additives.
Rob Gerard is the Tequila Collective, and he's here in El Paso at the Plaza Hotel for the big weekend that really kicks off here tonight with the dinner with Lalo, who we're going to meet in a second. Before we welcome Lalo, tell me about your relationship with him and how really it started.
So I met Lalo a couple years ago at a dinner in Los Angeles, and Lalo's he's one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet. I'm not just saying that because he's here. I tell everybody he is just a very genuine, sweet guy. And the brand, I remember the first time I tried Lalo, I thought it was good, but it wasn't anything exceptional. And one of the things I really appreciate about Lalo is they've been able to take feedback and criticism and tweak their recipe and do things that are always evolving. And I really appreciate and love that about the brand. And now I think they make the most versatile, elegant Blanco tequila. It's not only good for sipping on, but great for cocktails, great if you want to just party and take shots. It's really one of the best Blancos out there. And I love that they're just committed to making a Blanco tequila that shows the true expression of the agave plant.
All right, Rob, let's meet Lalo then. And hey,
hi, Steve.
Great to have you here, Lalo. Look, you've grown up in this business your whole life.
Yeah.
Your grandfather is Don Julio.
Yes.
So for you, tequila is not just a passion, it's probably a way of life.
Yeah.
When did you first realize that you wanted to get involved in the additive-free tequila business?
Not only on the additive-free, I mean, saying additive-free, for me, it was just like it's the way it has to be, you know. For us as a family, it's not even a thing because, like, I mean, we've done tequila properly since when my grandfather bought his first distillery when he was 17 in 1942. So I decided, though, to be involved in this industry probably when we sold Don Julio. At that time, I was like, I think this beautiful story has to be in the family, you know, and I want to showcase what I think about tequila in a bottle, you know. So I think that back in 2003, I was very young.
Yeah,
I was 13 years old, but at the same time, I was in love with the process and with the agave plant and with everything I was involved in tequila.
All right, take us back 20 years to when you were just getting into your teenage years. At that time, when Don Julio was made and it was still being run by the family, were additives a part of tequila? And was it common 20 years ago in Mexico to find that most tequilas, drinkable tequilas, had additives, sweeteners, and things like that, like we see today?
I think that additives have been around for many, many years. The reality is that this is my opinion, like probably last 10 years, there has been an over abuse in the use of additives, and that is changing the perception of the consumer. The problem is that the consumer, they don't really know what they're drinking. So I mean, additives or abocantes, or the way we call them in Mexico, they have been around, but I think that for the last 10 years it has been kind of like an over abuse of these, you know, additives and sweeteners and glycerins.
And do people generally use those to try and change the texture of the tequila, make it maybe a smoother tequila, a sweeter tequila? Was that the purpose of it originally?
I think the purpose originally is what it was, just to create consistency between batches. Now I think that it changed a little bit, you know. Now the kind of like the purpose of using additives, it could be multifactorial, multiple reasons. Probably they're using agaves that they're not fully mature. So when you're using an agave that is not ready to be harvested, there's some bitterness there that carries all the way through the final product. So we want to fix that, you know. Probably they're using column stills, so they end up with a very neutral flavor profile that you want to, you know, add some flavors to it. They're using diffusers probably. That a diffuser is basically like a shortcut on the process, that you're basically cooking the must with acids. Okay. So there are multiple reasons why. Now I think in the past it was more kind of like consistency. And now it's like, let's just fix what we have here and add some like character and flavor.
Now let's take us to you, because this is a childhood friend of yours. The two of you got together when you first started the project. Was it because at that time the family had sold and you were just looking to kind of bring the true, pure form of tequila back to the family?
Yeah, that was one reason why. David, my childhood friend, he's from Guadalajara as well, born and raised. He calls me in 2015 and tells me, Lalo, I'm super excited. I'm working on the marketing side of the Don Julio company now, and I want to know more stories about your family. So we started to chat about my family, about Mexico, about Mexican culture, about tequila, and about the lack of Mexican ownership in tequila brands, which it's weird, right? Because tequila comes from Mexico. So we decided back then that we wanted to do something for us, by us, and just to bring back, you know, the tradition and the authenticity of the Mexican ownership, but showcase that to our friends and family. So we originally launched Lalo as a private batch for friends and family in Guadalajara. Back in between 2016 and 2017, we were just like showcasing the brand in weddings, parties, and then back in 2017, I met a good friend from Austin, Texas, Jim, and we were at this wedding in Guadalajara, and Jim asked me right away, like, Lalo, is it normal that the grandma of the bride and the girls are drinking like straight from the bottle? And I was like, well, that's pretty normal for a Mexican wedding. Yes, it happens. Tequila is a celebratory spirit, so yes. And he was like, no kidding, guys, you have a great story to tell. You guys have a great product. with all Jim's background, helping entrepreneurs in Texas, especially in consumer packaged goods, we invited him as part of the founders team. We made some tweaks on the packaging, and then a month later from that wedding, my father passed away. So that was kind of like another kind of like moment in my life that I was like, I want to continue this legacy in this story, because this story cannot die with my father. So I want to bring people back to additive-free, traditionally made blancos by only making a blanco and doing it properly.
And this is a very simple process, isn't it? This is not something that involves barrels like other tequilas, and you don't have a ton of ingredients that go into this. I mean, this tequila, as consistent as it is I don't want to say it's simple to make, but it's not nearly as complex as other tequilas.
Exactly. I'll say yes, exactly. It's simple on the ingredients that you have, but at the same time, like, just as an example, like fermentation process is very complex. Is where magic happens, and it's not easy to achieve kind of like an optimal fermentation process, and then just splitting those flavors and aromas during the distillation process. Again, it's artistry. It's kind of like an artistry, So I mean, it's. I say that we're not inventing a rocket ship here. Like, we're just delivering a nice, well-made blanco. And that's kind of like the simplicity of Lalo.
And I love that, because there's really never a desire to do a reposado or an añejo. As far as you're concerned, this tequila, Blanco, is really the only way it should be made, correct?
I think so, yes. I mean, I totally respect the other, properly made tequilas that are out in the market and they have barrel-aged products. They're great. But I think it's also a matter of like principles, and just like stay true to your passion, your way of doing things, and the why you're doing it. So yeah, I mean, it's just a way of us just to honor the Mexican culture and the agave.
Now, Lalo, Rob mentioned a little while ago that when he first tried it, he said it was okay, but nothing special. But he gave you feedback. You were open to that from Rob and other people. How has the tequila evolved over the last, let's say, 3-4 years since you started making it and producing it to where it is today?
Yeah, so we're always listening, to the consumer. I mean, Rob will not let me lie. Like, I'm all the time, like in tequila groups on Facebook, Instagram, just listening to the consumer and trying to pick some of like their brains, to see how we can, improve Lalo. From the get-go, we had a very simple, idea. Let's create a versatile blanco. And that we started in a tiny distillery, which had like a different equipment. For instance, the stainless steel pots. We were distilling in stainless steel pots. When we moved to the new distillery, we have now the ability to do copper pot stills, 100% copper pot stills. So we're distilling in copper. So that obviously, changed the product, and the evolution of it, I think, is we're trying to, capture these two markets, right? We see the market as like kind of like in two portions. One is the aficionado market, which, I mean, you're part of like the aficionado market. Rob is part of the aficionado market, which it's probably less than 5% of the entire, category. And then there's the other, market that they drink the mass-produced, like full of additive tequilas that we want to capture both. And so that's kind of like by design, we wanted to do kind of like a versatile tequila that captures both markets. So I guess that's the evolution, trying to, listen to both markets and just trying to deliver, a product for them.
And now here we are. It's a gorgeous hotel, the Plaza Hotel, about as beautiful a place as you're going to find here in this city, where we have the Tequila Collective Summit. And Rob, we've been listening to Lalo talk about his tequila, the evolution and how it's grown. This for you and for people that are going to be here attending this event this weekend, this is going to be really, I guess, a celebration, an education, and more than anything, your goals for people that attend, starting tonight with the sold-out dinner with Lalo through the weekend. Tell me a little bit about what you would like, to have before the end of the weekend.
Sure. To me, tequila is all about community. It's a beautiful representation of Mexican culture. But the thing, as an outsider, that I've always gained from tequila and traveling to Mexico is there's this sense of community, and I love that. So I hope that people come. Obviously, I want them to experience great additive-free tequila. I want them to eat good food. But more than anything, I want people to have a good time together. I want them to feel this sense of community, and I hope that they leave with a new friend, a new tequila drinking buddy. Like, to me, that's what tequila is about, being able to share it with other people.
Where do you see tequila over the next few years? Do you think we're going to start to see more and more additive-free tequilas produced?
I think so. At least I really hope so. The market is becoming a little saturated. I feel like a lot of people, especially with the spike in tequila drinking through COVID, a lot of people have found opportunity in the industry, so there has been this rise in brands. I feel that more brands will still be coming out, but a lot of them are making that shift to only being additive free, which is great to see.
At the same time, there's a lot of celebrity tequilas out there, and most of those celebrity tequilas are not additive free. So
Correct.
You tell me, is it helping or hurting the market?
It's a double-edged sword, because on one hand, a celebrity tequila can get a lot of people into the market. And that's great, because the more people drinking tequila, regardless of the brand, helps the category, helps the industry. But hopefully what will happen is once those people are exposed to the celebrity brands, they start to wonder what else is out there. And then hopefully we can convert them to additive-free, better-made product.
How can people follow the Tequila Collective on social media?
So I'm on Instagram, _Tequila Collective, or on TikTok at The Tequila Collective.
And Lalo, as we wrap things up, future for you. You're already selling tons of tequila here in Texas. I know you're in Arizona because I see the tequila as well.
Yep.
Where would you like to grow this business over the next few years?
I think the main goal in Lalo is to kind of like turn Lalo into a staple in every single back bar as the additive-free Blanco, like the go-to. And that's the goal. We are very proud to say that Lalo is now a national brand, so we're available nationwide. It's a big milestone for us. But ahead of us, there's still a lot of ground to cover. So I guess now it's just expanding the brand in the markets that we are in, and keep spreading the word. And not only Lalo, but properly made additive-free Blancos and Tequilas.
Gentlemen, it's really been a pleasure for me. Thank you so much for sitting down. And if you're getting a chance to watch this, please come out to the Plaza Hotel this weekend for the Tequila Collective Summit. You'll not only get an opportunity to enjoy Lalo, but some of the best additive-free tequilas here you're going to find anywhere.